JB in the house. Bottom of the ocean once again, self-isolating. Me and my buddy Elsa. That's Elsa. She's been munching all day long in her kitchen. In my kitchen, I've been cooking up something funky, something completely different than pond scum. Like to hear? Here it go. This one is for C minor or C minor 7, and it is sweep and arpeggio based, and some bendy-assed bends at the end, of course. So I'm going to be doing a downstroke, and then up, up, up. So the right hand for this C minor 7 arpeggio, down, up, 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 and then a G minor 7 arpeggio, down, up, up, up. And then another C minor 7 arpeggio, an octave down. Downstroke, and then up, up, up. Then I start alternate picking. C, D, E flat. Then I start doing half step bends. Then I bend the flat 5 to the 5, the 9 to the flat 3rd, then whole step, and then go up a whole step. So that last bend, I bend it up a whole step, drop it a bit, and take it back up. This section is for people that might not know anything about music theory or the mechanics of music. You might be a great player. You might be able to take off songs from records great and already play in a band. But when I start talking in this riff series about numbers, like the first, the third, the fifth, the flat 5, the minor 3rd, the flat 7, it all comes from a scale. If I'm playing a major scale, like A major Ionian mode, it's all numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 8 becomes 1 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I've got 1, 2, 3, and I'm talking about a flat third, then this third will go down a half step. If I'm talking about a 7, a flat 7 would be a half step lower. Same with the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Flat 5 is going to be a half step lower, or a sharp 5, half step higher. When I talk about an arpeggio is just a chord, really, played one note at a time. So if I have an A major 7 chord, and I play it one note at a time, that's an arpeggio. Striking it all together is a chord, separate is an arpeggio. If I'm going to play an E minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio, here's an E minor 7. I'm going to flat that 5. Sometimes when I talk about bending, I'll go by steps. So half step bend, if I'm going to go from here, you want to make sure not to overbend and do a whole step or somewhere between a half step and a whole step. So it's a good idea when you're practicing bends to play the note that is your target first, because you get that in your ear and then bend up until you hear it. Sometimes I'll get into a minor third bend. Sometimes the bends are just very subtle. I'm not even thinking half step or whole step. I'm just thinking of making some kind of movement on the string. Some of the techniques I'll be talking about are sweeps. If I have 3 notes that are lined up on a string, or even 2 notes, I'm going to just take an A major triad for this example. Rather than the right hand going down, up, down, if I sweep it, it means my right hand is going all downstrokes in the same direction. And there's a kind of a subtle angle change in my hand where, check out the right hand if I'm doing alternate picking. If I'm sweeping, if I'm doing upstrokes, I'll angle it the other way slightly. When I talk about double stops, it just means 2 notes at the same time. So, like, sometimes I will bend into double stops. Like I'm going to bend the C to D and grab this G. A reverse bend means that you do the bend first and then let it drop. So if this is my target note, I'll bend up to that first, and then I don't pick until it's already bent and let it drop. That was a half step bend. And a lot of times when I bend, this thumb is going to be over the top to help me grip. If I'm going to be doing some stretches, the thumb is dead center in the back of the neck, because if your thumb is up here, it really constricts your movement. But if your thumb's in the back, you can get a lot bigger spread.